Let's take you to this now. Today is the inaugural Charlotte Maxeke African Women Leadership Awards at the Convention Centre in Sandton, north of Johannesburg. The awards are aimed at acknowledging the role women played on international stage. For more, we are now joined by our international editor, Sophie Mokoena. Sophie, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Now, last year, government declared the year as that of Charlotte Maxeke. Talk to us then about this heroine, that we have come to love so much as South Africans. And of course, just some of the characteristics that these organizers have seen to name these awards after her.
Let me talk about the awards. The awards are aimed at acknowledging women around the world who have done good, and particularly women on the continent. This is the first launch. It will continue annually, where women will be acknowledged in terms of what they are doing around the world. We know that DERCO is also annually handing over awards that are called Ubuntu Awards, where they acknowledge anyone, that will include business, who are doing good around the world, and particularly showcasing South Africa. And therefore today we expect women in particular to be honored for the work that they have done around the world, be it in the media, business, diplomacy, medicine, and many other sectors. And therefore it is a very important day where women can stand proudly and say that we are being acknowledged for the work that we have done. They chose Charlotte Maxeke because you know that Charlotte Maxeke was an internationalist. She received her BSc degree in Wilberforce in the United States of America, first woman to get a degree. And later she came back to South Africa, where she established Wilberforce Institute, where young people were given skills. But she also played a prominent role in establishing an AME church in South Africa. This reminds me of a small town called Balfour, where you have a AME church, where the church is named after a woman, that is Sophie Mokoena. The intention was to honor Charlotte Maxeke, but also here in Soweto, in Pimville, you have another church that is named after Charlotte Maxeke because of her role she played in promoting religion. She didn't only do that, she also did a good job in terms of fighting colonialism. She is one person who attended the ANC launch in Bloemfontein in 1912. We know that at that time women were not allowed to be full members of the African National Congress or the South African Native Congress. She led the way, she fought, and finally women were allowed to be card-carrying members of the ANC. She did launch a Bantu Women's League. Today we call it the ANC. And therefore she engaged in many programs of actions where she was fighting the system. At some point in time she led a march in Bloemfontein fighting against past laws and land dispossession, and therefore she played a prominent role. It is for that reason the Department of International Relations has decided that they will have these awards and in honor of Charlotte Maxeke, an internationalist.
And Sophie, symbolically, of course, we are still celebrating International Women's Month. Is there a commitment from the global leaders then to support women, especially women in leadership roles?
There's a lot that's been done to ensure that women do take their rightful place, but it's still a problem. You look at the continent, for example, you only have one woman president with executive powers. Maybe next year, after the elections in Namibia, we will have a woman president if SWAPO is able to do well during elections. But generally, women are still fighting the same struggle, particularly the struggle of patriarchy. It is for that reason this year there was a commitment from the United Nations to push that world leaders must adopt policies and protocols and treaties that are aimed at empowering women.
You mentioned patriarchy, and I want us to, turn our focus back to South Africa, particularly. What are some of the challenges that are still being faced by women? You particularly mentioned the role Maxeke played, in advancing the cause of women.
The main issue right now is gender-based violence. We know that the victims are women and children, and therefore this is a crisis. This is a pandemic, and it looks like in terms of South Africa, we've lost this battle. You look at the numbers, you look at the victims who are crying day in and out, women who are being killed. It looks like the criminal justice system is failing to address that problem. You also have a situation that because of COVID-19 and now the war in Ukraine, women are not working. Many have lost jobs because of the impact of COVID-19. You know that when it is time to retrench, women are always, victims of such processes, and therefore the issue of poverty, the issue of water. Women in some parts of the country, they still have to walk long distances to fetch water. You have a situation with the electricity crisis. For them, it is very difficult to prepare meal and help the children because some are single parents, and therefore it is a very, very big challenge, particularly for women. They are the ones who are suffering most when there's war because they have to find shelter, and women can do so much to protect themselves. And therefore the struggle of a woman, it's not only in the house, it is at work, in society, on the continent, and the world at large. And the struggles of women are the same all over the world.
Sophie Mokoena, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Our international editor there speaking to us about the inaugural Charlotte Maxeke African Women Leadership Awards that are currently taking place in Sandton in Johannesburg. We take a quick break and we'll be back straight after this. Don't go away.